All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Very excited. Our good friend Susan Lynn is with us today. How are you doing, Susan? Good to see you.
I'm doing good, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me on. I love our monthly get togethers,
Me too.
our psychic ping pong, as you call it.
Yes, the psychic ping pong. For anybody that's new, Susan and I have psychic hits that we ping pong off of each other. So it's always a fun time when Susan's with us. All right. So anything new for you, my friend? Hanging in there in the midst of all of this craziness that we've been going through, trying our best to keep our vibration raised.
That is what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing over here. I see that one of your moderators, Antoinette's granddaughter, was asking how you're doing, and you're live yesterday. You sounded like you were completely well, and then today you sound like you're having a relash.
I feel okay, but my throat's a little weak, and I was noticing it towards the end of my show yesterday. But I
Yeah.
don't feel sick at all.
Oh, okay.
So I think we'll be okay. I think,
Okay.
yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's too bad. Hopefully, so all right. But I'm feeling much better.
Well, good.
And thanks everybody for joining us. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're not already, and I'm sure most of you are, please make sure that you go over to Susan Lynn's channel. It's her YouTube link is in the description box. Make sure you're subscribed and support her. Susan has great content that she releases multiple times a week.
Thanks,
All
Kevin.
right, of course.
And if
So
you're just
anything,
hanging out and not subscribed to Kevin, please subscribe to Kevin, right? Please support everybody. It's free. Share the love, spread the love.
absolutely. So is there anything that you want to get started with, Susan? I mean, there's so much going on in the world.
Let me tell you, I'm like you. I have to really limit my news because it's just over the top. It's like we are in laughable land now. Like this can't be reality. Truly it can't be reality, right? So I don't have anything right off the top. Let me see if the guides want to say anything about anything. Um, you know what's coming in is Tulsi Gabbard. Um,
Mm,
just in general, I've always felt like she is a bit of an outsider, a dark horse, like an outsider. Like she circles the camp at night. She doesn't sleep with the people in the team. You know, she's not really a
yeah.
member of the team. She kind of stays on the outside and is wary and kind of walks around them, not in a protective way, I would say. Um, what do you feel about her? Do you feel like she's going to be one of the people that's going to survive this? The when the whole thing crumbles, do you think she's going to be the one of the ones that gets away?
Well, I would say if anything for her, it feels like she's one of the ones that maybe is able to flee and to escape to maybe another country is what I pick up with her. I think it's very interesting though because what was it? She was just testifying in Congress and kind of threw Trump under the bus, which I don't think he was very happy about. I think she pretty much said that Iran did not have was not working on their nuclear and did not pose an imminent threat, which is what they were saying when they went in there. So
Right. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with you. So maybe she's trying to, you're going to start seeing people sort of separate. And look at JD, right? Like you're going to see people kind of just get some distance from them.
we've been seeing that for a while too. I think that there's like a lot of inside factions. Um, like, are we team
Right.
Vance or
Sure.
Marco? Um, I think that a lot of people are making contingency plans because they know it's not sustainable. Marianne asks, is Gabbard a double agent with Russia? I've been saying that since I've started my channel. So,
I
so yeah,
know.
yes, I do see that for sure, which is why she may be able to flee. So,
Right.
can I tell you, even though everything's crazy right now, and I will say I was saying on my show yesterday, I haven't been sleeping the best on the last few nights, and a lot of my subscribers were saying the same thing, like a lot of broken sleep. I do feel like there's something imminent that's going to be pretty huge, may cause some devastation. to me, it felt like it was probably related to what's going on in the Middle East and energy around that. Could also be weather related, or maybe it's both. Um, but I do feel, even though, I don't think everything's going to be amazing and, um, smooth sailing, I actually feel like we're kind of getting back onto this timeline that Susan and I had been talking about before, way before even the last election.
Yes.
I really feel things coming into place. So I'm feeling actually some good news on the horizon coming in here very soon. So
That's good. That's really good news.
yeah. Again, like I
So it's
said, it's
sort of
not going
like
to
the
be all
dam breaks.
amazing, but
What's that?
what's that?
What'd you
What
say?
was that, Susan?
I said it's kind of like the dam breaks. You know what I mean? Like after your fever breaks and you feel better, right? Like after the fever gets to the fever
The
pitch, you're
pressure.
you're delusional, you don't even know what your name is.
Mhm.
You're literally out of your head, and then the fever breaks, and that's when you can actually start, even though you're still very, very sick, you can at least start to recover.
Yeah. Well, maybe an interesting analogy with how I'm feeling. But when you said dam break, it's like it relieves some of that pressure that we've all been feeling like we've been under. Yeah.
Do
And
you
it
see
feels like
that?
it's
Do you see
more
that
than
this
just,
year?
yeah, I do. I feel
Oh, nice.
something actually very encouraging. Um, and I actually feel like something big going on with Russia. I just read on it yesterday too, something with Putin and change going on there that I do feel like is connected to change coming on here. Netanyahu is always a bit harder for me to actually really read very clearly, although I feel changes in Israel too. So, again, it's not going to all happen overnight, but I do feel like we're starting to see some of that light emerge. Um, so I'm actually feeling very hopeful. And I do think we have our No King's Day protest this weekend. And then I actually feel like there's going to be more protests probably like every weekend, not just here in the States, but around the world, that I think is going to be really empowering. Yeah.
Nice. So it's building to a crescendo. It seems like there's two different things happening. The fever's going to break, the dam's going to break on this chokehold that they have on us. And then
Yeah.
separately, the people are building to this fever pitch against them. You know what I mean? There's two different parts of the scales of justice that are kind of rocking back and forth.
Absolutely. All right. What were your thoughts on, I think this was already established in, well, maybe it wasn't in the Jack Smith document case, but some news coming out about that today, um, about how he was benefiting, his businesses were benefiting from the documents that he had, and we already knew that he had extremely top secret documents. But Jude wants to know: did Trump sell secret documents in 2021 on how to take over Iran to Iran? I don't feel like it was to Iran, but I do feel like there was top secret documents about Iran that probably somebody in Russia got that maybe then fed it to Iran.
Exactly. And then Russia fed it to Iran. Right. Exactly. That's what I think. I mean, basically, yes, the answer is yes, but maybe differently than we think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. And I was saying too, I did not feel like the documents case is over. Um,
Oh no.
this may be part of it, but I actually feel like there's more transparency and Judge Eileen Cannon being overstepped and or overruled. Eventually, I see her being disbarred, but um, a lot of that evidence coming out,
Yeah.
and it's really too. Again, it's hard to pinpoint one thing that's going to take down Trump because I feel like there's so much going on between the health, Epstein, trashing the economy, insider trading, um, attempting World War III, which I don't see, but it's just so much stuff there. Being a traitor, selling our top secret information, throwing our intelligence people under the bus. I don't know, but I do feel like this is going to be a big story that continues to develop there as well. Yeah. I'm actually going to throw some cards on. So what do you feel? Do you feel a lot more information coming out about the documents case?
I do. I
Mhm.
feel like not only information, but I feel like credible, actionable information and the will to investigate it, because these people are splitting from Trump. They're going to turn on him,
Mm.
and then they're going to turn on his allies because they're going to want that power. They're going to try to take his power, remove him, however that happens, whether he goes to the great restaurant in the sky, the ketchup factory in the sky, or whatever he does. Um, however they get rid of him, they get rid of him. They want to take over. I don't know that they're really going to pull that off, but you're going to see them, no honor among thieves. They're going to start eating each other. What do you got?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Um, and I think we've both been talking about that for a while too, like inside, and even the wealthy people that, the elites that supported Trump, they're not loving the trade wars. They're not liking,
Mm-mm.
what he's doing to the economy right now.
Mhm.
I feel like it's people that he's made deals with that betray him.
Nice.
It could even be like Netanyahu as well. I've been reading on that too, like a big falling out between as well. Yeah. I feel
Well,
like they've just
we've
kind of had
gotten
it
him
with him.
being betrayed.
I feel like the elites got their tax breaks that they wanted, and now it's like he's
That's
causing a little
true.
bit too much. It's like, okay, time to shift things up. But I don't necessarily see JD Vance in there either. If he is, it's very short.
From the
Or
beginning.
Rubio. So
Or Rubio. And they think, and what about that JD coming out and saying he's not going to run in 28 because he wants to spend more time with his family?
oh, isn't that funny?
That is
It could be
funny.
because he knows that I think he knows he's doomed because of this, right? Yeah.
And if
Well,
that's the
and I think
case,
it's interesting too. Uh-huh. I guess Iran doesn't want to deal with Kushner, or I don't remember the other guy that
apparently
was
not.
they were working with. Now they want to talk to Vance. Isn't that funny?
They're going to drag Vance into it because Vance doesn't
Mhm.
want to be in it. So they're going to drag him into it and make him own it. I love it. I'm telling you, I love the mean girl. Whatever. I hate the austere, authoritarian, anti-woman Iranian regime, but I have
Mm.
to say that they're playing this war in a smart way because they keep having all these videos on social media where it's just trolling Trump. I mean, the videos are so incredibly good, and they're all AI, but they're so good. Like in this last video, they put Liam Neeson's face on Trump, and they used Keir Starn, what's his Keir Starmer. They used him in
Mhm.
there. It's just hilarious. They're just dragging him through the mud.
Oh, that is funny.
It is
Well, it's
really
kind of a
funny.
little bit of how they get his base all riled up with all of their AI misinformation and kind of using that against
Using it against
this,
them.
this regime, right?
Yep. I mean, in one of them, they literally put Trump in bed with a young person. I can't
Uh-huh.
say the words,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's no sacred cows over there, right? They're literally just they're going for blood, and that's a different way to win a war.
Yeah. It's interesting too because it's almost like you would think that Democrats might have to play a little bit of fire with fire because they're not really on with all of this new independent media. We're starting to see some of it.
They're like
Um,
dinosaurs,
yeah.
literally, literally dinosaurs, literally.
Yeah. I will say what what are you feeling about the TSA agents not being paid and the government being somewhat partially shut down? Do you feel like they're going to be able to get that fixed here soon? I feel like they're going to have to.
I feel like they're gonna have to, but you know what? It feels like they fix it and then something else breaks, and it might not even be something that they planned, but there's
Mm.
real weird off again, on again, broken, fixed energy around transportation in
Yes.
general. And that could just be that even if they bring everybody back, we still, a lot of those agents quit. A lot of those TSA
Mhm.
agents just quit. A lot of those, these, people that do the air traffic control are quitting. You can't just hire people really quickly for those. So I think it's going
Takes
to
time to
impact us
train.
off and on for a while. You know what my question is for you? Because the
Yeah.
guys have been talking about this for like 12 hours. What do the airline CEOs think about this situation? Because I don't know about you, but I'm seeing pictures of airports and it looks really horrendous. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it's, pictures of ICE standing around, they're getting paid, and TSA isn't getting paid. This is not playing well with the public. Surely the CEOs have some power. And is that going to add to this breaking of the dam?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I feel like I said, it's more than just them. I think it's a lot of the elites and oligarchs, people in power. Yeah, it's like they need to fight back. Just throwing a couple of cards, seven of wands, which is
There
standing
you
up for
go.
yourself, um, going for the attack. Well, they knew a lot of secrets there too. Seven of Swords is
I bet they do.
the thief. Um, which we know that they rip everybody off too. It's all about their profits and everything. But I actually see them taking a stance of strength and kind of fighting back. Maybe they release some of the stuff. The tower, it's part of this implosion and crumbling so that we can rebuild. Um, I agree with you. I feel like they're gonna get something bipartisan done here. To me, it feels like in the next week or two to get the workers paid, um, which will help the situation. But I agree, it's going to take a while to rebuild that infrastructure, to get people rehired, to get them trained. Um, isn't it interesting that as soon as this administration came in and Doge went through and was firing everybody, um, we didn't have all of these plane accidents before that. Not very often, right? So I think
No,
that that's
yeah,
pretty
not
telling.
very often at all. My God.
Yeah.
Kevin Lewis is here. Hey, Kevin. Good to
Kevin
see
Lewis.
you. Thanks for stopping by. Um,
What about
I
the
mean,
Safe Act, Susan? Are you feeling
well,
them?
so here's the thing about the SAFE Act. So
Mhm.
is that the same legislation that has to pass to restart the government?
Well, that's what Trump's saying. He's threatening he's not going to pass anything until they do the Safe Act, which they're
Okay.
going to
So
do.
they're two separate things, but he's holding it
He's
hostage.
trying to
Okay.
put them together so that he
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
that.
Well, and here's the thing, we all know, I'm not telling you anything new, that he will starve us to death. I mean, he doesn't care. He literally will hold us hostage forever. I mean, that's why I think you're picking up on this. Something has to give, right?
Mm,
Like it may be one of those things where they say it's him or me, right? Like, this, you want us CEOs, we're out. You've got to get rid of him. You've got to find a way to get rid of him. So that might be what's finally coming to a head here. Now, I know that you don't see it passing. Um, the SAVE Act is in the big beautiful bill. Okay, thank you, JC. Um, I see parts of the SAVE Act is separate. Okay, I see parts of the SAVE Act passing, and
mm,
I think it's because there's things in it that you can't strip out that are necessary for us to operate. So I really feel like parts of it are going to pass. I hope I'm wrong. I
mhm,
really do. And I'm not sure what part is going to pass, but I don't think any of it would be good. Um, and that's not what's pressuring these CEOs, right? We are pressuring the CEOs. We're still not shopping at Target.
mm,
Um, we're by the end of the summer, we might not be flying very much. We might get through the summer, but then by October, depending on what happens, if this all breaks open and Vance comes in and somebody puts a muzzle on him, then yeah, maybe we'll start getting back to some normalcy, and maybe that's what you're seeing.
mhm. Yeah, well, I feel like everything's, and I've been saying like spring into early summer, being a bit crazy. I do see things starting to calm down a little bit more like second part of the year, but I mean,
Right.
it's going to be like, we're going to have problems that we're dealing with still, you know.
Right. That's when the guide said that the United States would be in a medically induced coma. That's what they talked about months ago. They said
Mhm.
from like the middle of the summer towards the end of the year, it's like everything is just, let's just freeze everything because we don't know what is happening. We're not gonna let anything else happen. It's like when you've been stolen from and you got to stop and just do accounting. You can't
Mhm.
keep selling things because you don't know what you have left. So we're just going to be doing an accounting of our country, I think, for the rest of the year from that time.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, and maybe what you're picking up with the SAVE Act too is I do believe that there were some Democrats possibly open to doing the part of the SAVE Act where it's ID requirements
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than like the birth certificate or having a
Right.
passport, but having some kind of ID to
Right.
vote. So maybe
Right.
something with that, but I don't see it passing the way it is right now.
No, it can't pass the way it is. But even some 10% of it is kind of like poison. It's just a slower
Yeah.
death. But you know what? We need to buy time to where we can get rid of them and then again get everything kind of calmed down and then take an accounting of what we have and then move forward.
The thing with it though too is it's nothing new. There are ways to suppress voters or try to target people to manipulate elections. So this is nothing new, and I think we know how desperate Trump is because of all of these special election
Yeah.
results. The thing is even if they were to pass part of this, which again, like I said, I'm not necessarily seeing it, the devastating part of it passing. Um, that's really going to limit females, who are married to vote. Um, and I actually, there's a part in there too about the voter rolls. That feels like some states have already gave their voter rolls, but I'm not seeing
Mm,
like that being mandatory. And parts of this, if it does pass, will definitely be there'll be lawsuits and will challenged as well.
yeah.
But the thing is even if they're going to try all of this suppression here, it's not going to matter because I think you're starting to see so many people, Democrats, coming out to vote. Independents are not for this party. The MAGA party, we're seeing big divisions there. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to come out and vote Democratic, but a lot of them just aren't going to vote,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, I mean, we're
Yeah.
seeing
That's
all of these red
what
districts.
we've always said.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I've
mean,
always gotten.
I love it. Trump's district in Mar-a-Lago just flipped blue from a
Yes.
special election. So,
I'm telling you, the writing is on the wall. It didn't work. All of these shenanigans, all of these horrible things that they've done didn't work.
and it's not going to work. It's going
No.
to be There's going to be so many people coming out. It's going to be too big to rig, is what I'm feeling. Yeah, and then Trump's against mail-in voting and says it's all for fraud, but then voted in that election
That's what I'm
by the
saying.
mail. Isn't the hypocrisy
You
just
know,
crazy, right?
it's just and the media won't call him out on it. There's absolutely no opposition here. Um, you know what I want your opinion on because the
Mhm.
guides dropped this in. So something
Yeah,
is changing, definitely. Because it's interesting that you and I kind of like clocked that energetic change, right? Like because yesterday my guide said, or maybe it was day before yesterday, they said, take a look at Jeffries. They said Jeffries is going to be the man of the hour. They're going to put him up. They're gonna march him to the front. I even have a video says Jeffries is president. I'm telling you.
oh,
They're
interesting.
going to try to put Jeffries, as speaker so that he's going to be the punching bag. They always do that to the Democrats. They're like, "Oh, you want this?" And we're like, "We've been fighting for it forever. We'll take it, but it's broken. It's not worth anything. We're just going to get blamed for
It's
everything."
just to set him
But
up.
I feel like Jeffries is they're pivoting. They're going to put Jeffries in place, and then we can't argue anymore. We can't. What can we say? We have our man in charge, even though we won't have control of the House. It's terrible. I've talked about it several times, but the energy has shifted to where now this feels like a real possibility to me.
Well, you know what's interesting? I don't necessarily see that, but just throwing cards on Jeffries, it actually kind of goes along with exactly what you're saying. So, so I don't know if you're influencing my cards over here, Susan, but they're telling a story of
you're like, get out of my card, Susan.
Somebody getting a promotion or a new job, big momentum. There's a hidden plan here with the high priestess. It's to make him be the fall guy.
Yes.
To suspend him, to make him look foolish.
Yes. And by proxy, all of us are going to look foolish. And I can't do it. I just can't. But anyway, we have to understand. Here's another thing that we all have to understand. All of us right now looking at this video, we are such a small, overly educated, overly tuned in. We are super sensitive to the energy and what is happening. The average Democrat is not. They're not like us. The average Democrat is not like us. They're still in the system. They're still for the system. They're in the system. They support the system. So it's probably going to be a situation where we're like, again, we see the freight train coming down the tracks. We're screaming for everybody to get out of the way, and Democrats just stand there. And that's just kind of where I think we are right now. And that's fine. I mean, that has to be fine for now. It just has to be. If something will make the pain stop, I'll be okay with it for right now. And then we can regroup, find our people in the Democratic Party, really push them to make changes against the embattled establishment of the Jeffries and the Schumers.
Well, I think it's a gradual progression too. I mean, I think we are seeing this fiery, progressive, younger people coming in. And it's going to take some time to kind of clean house, right? I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure there. I actually feel like too there might be pressure to start a third party, which like that one that a lot of younger voters really enjoy too. That's very progressive. That might be a little bit out there in the future still, but yeah, I mean, I see both parties kind of crumbling and having to rebuild, right? We're not going to have any real change or have government work for us until we get money out of politics, and both sides are corrupt and both sides take money, right? Yeah. It's all about their donors and who lines their pockets.
And not about us. About us. Not, So but the thing that they're not understanding is, and I think you make a really good point about the No Kings Party and also about how, in the summer you're just going to see, protest after protest after protest. They are so blind to what is happening in America. They don't see that we are activated and that we finally, for real see the truth. Mm-hmm. And we're going to hold them accountable. So they think they can just placate us, and that's not really going to be a thing. Ask Target.
Well, the thing is too, we're in primary season right now. You're going to see some of these Democrats being primaried by younger, the dinosaurs that have been in there for their whole lives that should have retired decades ago. We're going to see some of them start to be primaried out. Yeah. So it will take some time for sure. I will say I'm not the biggest Jeffries fan. I feel like he might surprise us a little bit, although he still takes money, and he's definitely better than Schumer, in my opinion. I see Schumer, this will be his last term in a leadership position. They will not vote him in after the midterms.
I hope so.
I feel a really strong younger man energy coming in to replace him as majority leader. I'll say the House, I've been saying since the election, I definitely felt going blue. even with, changing the maps and the gerrymanders, all of that. The Senate, I've always kind of been like 50-50 on, but I actually feel a lot more optimistic where things are going. And I love Jasmine Crockett, but I'm actually kind of glad that Tallarico got it, because I think he can actually win it. And I see that the Senate more than likely going blue as well. 51 or 52 seats, majority. So
my only message for any Democrat is
mhm.
you better listen to the people. I promise you, we are absolutely at our wits' end. And if you do one little thing to displease us, we will make it known. I promise you, this is just the beginning. And this is the energy I've seen for a year, right? So
Mhm.
do whatever. Y'all vote in whoever you want to vote in, but I'm telling you, they're not safe. The times of these people being able to just run forever and ever and ever, I think, are gone. I think these young millennials, Gen Zs, whatever the people under the Gen Zs, they detest that kind of, just generational power. They detest it.
Mhm.
So I just think the energy's changing, right?
Yeah, well, and then also too, the younger generations, you know, they don't put their time and energy into things that don't serve them, and they have no
That's true.
problem. They have no problem
That's true. There's no
saying how they
sacred
really
cows with
feel.
them. That's true.
Like if it feels like it's a waste of time for them, it's not something that they're even going to
Yeah,
do, or
that's true.
something that they're going to
They don't even
participate
want to
in.
explain
So
things to you. Like they're like, if you don't know, get out of the way, right? So
so so they're going to demand change, because if not, they're not going to participate.
yeah. Or they'll tear it down. They'll just vote for
Hmm.
anybody, anybody, just to throw a wrench in the whole thing. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But you're right. So far, I mean, including Mar-a-Lago, the liberals are getting in. The liberals are winning, you guys. It's not the conservative Democrats that are winning. So that's good too.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I love Jasmine Crockett. I personally was never really felt her too much as a senator. I feel like she could be like attorney general. I've said when they redistricted her, I didn't feel she was gonna to win that seat, which then I guess she decided to run for the Senate. But I almost feel a big cabinet position for her. So I'm not necessarily picking up Senate. I feel like she's on to bigger and better things, actually. Are you picking up her replacing Cruz, or um,
I think she
anything
wants
big?
to. I mean, the problem is it's like Beto. We've read on Beto so many times.
Hmm.
Both of us said he was supposed to be a senator, not a governor. It's like they get these ideas about what they want instead of like reading the tea leaves or whatever. Um, for her, I feel like she wants to replace. It's personal, and I think for
Hmm.
Beto too. Beto wanted to be in Texas. He didn't want to run. He didn't he just needed to represent Texans. I kind of feel like that with her as well.
Hmm.
But the good news about Jasmine is I don't think that she's going to take this sitting down. I don't think she's going to pivot and go into like a think tank. I think she's going to stay in the public. She's a defender, public
Yeah.
defender. That's her energy. So I think that if she gets an opportunity to be AG or, district attorney or Supreme Court, like I
Yeah.
think she'll take it. I think the Supreme Court is too she wants more action. Supreme Court is too boring for her. So I think it would be more like district
I,
attorney
I'm
or
not necessarily picking up Supreme Court. I think she's going to be a big face and a big part of this new leadership that's coming and emerging. And I don't
yeah.
think that she would have that if she had the responsibility of the Supreme Court.
Also true. Also
I
true.
think she would be an amazing attorney general. And maybe that's not quite just yet, but we need somebody with her kind of energy in there. Not another Merrick Garland that's just going to pussyfoot around and um, just take his time and not actually get on the offense and go after these people. And Jasmine, we know, she would take them all down.
Yeah.
She would set it all
Her
on
and Jack
fire.
Smith. Imagine her and Jack Smith together on some kind of tribunal.
Jack Smith is great. I wouldn't want him as an enemy as well. However, I feel Jasmine really likes the spotlight, where Jack Smith likes to do things behind,
That's true. That is true. That is true.
like in secret or like behind the scenes. Like a
That's true.
special counsel's a great job for him because he doesn't like
Yeah,
going
that's
on
true.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely true.
All right. What else do we want to look at?
What do you see? I see Joyce Matthews asking about the Democrats don't drop out of the race for governor in California. Republican will win. Do you see this happening? I mean, do you feel like what do you feel like's happening with in general with the governor's race in California?
Yeah, I do feel that I see some Democrats dropping out beforehand. There'll be pressure for them to drop out because if they don't, they could get two Republicans if they have such a big Democratic field. They take the top two in the primary, and they're going to be on the ballot. But I see a Democrat taking that seat.
What about that guy Stenner? What's his name? He's the rich guy.
Billionaire, yeah, that's who I get stuck on. Is it?
I don't like
Steiner?
his energy. I do not like his energy. I just don't.
I don't know though because I feel like when I've thrown cards on him, he's definitely has a lot of money and all of that to support him his race. But I almost feel like most of the Democrats in California, we're tired of billionaires, right?
Steyer, yeah.
Tom Steyer. I don't know if I
I think
necessarily
all
have
of
a
us are
horrible
tired of
feeling
him.
about him, but I I actually felt like every time I've thrown on him, I get like a no. It could be a Swalwell is kind of who I'm thinking right now. It feels like it's a younger male to me though, which I think Steyer's on the older side. So it could be
So
Swalwell.
Porter is out.
Who's out?
Porter,
Porter.
Katie Porter.
I think she would have been a great governor too. Let me throw some cards on her. I haven't read on her in a while.
Yeah, we're talking about not Steny Hoyer. We're talking about the other guy,
It was Tom Steyer.
Tom Steyer.
I think.
He's a okay. Don't everybody get all upset. I was asking the question: is she out? I would, you guys calm down. It's gonna be okay. But
I'm
this
not
is
necessarily. I feel like Katie Porter's amazing, but I'm not necessarily feeling her the winner.
we love Katie Porter.
She's great.
I wish she was still
You know what? She still has big things on
in
the
office.
horizon for her. These cards that came through just doing a check-in with her, although I'm feeling intuitively it's a male. She's got the Wheel of Fortune, so there's new
That's
cycles
good.
coming in for her. It can be with the Judgment card. There's something that big that she's destined for. Judgment card can also be, well, I think what was it? She was doing an interview, and a lot of people weren't liking how she was acting,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
turning her off. She's a fighter. She'll fight for the people and for what's right. And there's big opportunities coming in here for her too. But I get the Hermit, so that would be like no, probably. If you're a governor, you're going to be out in the public. This is like kind of taking
Right.
a
It
step
would be the sun. It's just sad that the women are not winning. And I'm just gonna tell y'all that you keep messing with the women and y'all gonna have some women pissed off and in 32, and that's okay. That's okay, everybody. Y'all keep dissing women, dissing Jasmine, dissing Katie just because, this and that, they can't win. Whatever the reason is, I don't care. But that's all right. Democratic Party, keep putting your men in there. Go ahead. We'll see what happens. I'm telling you, it's about to blow up in your face, and they'll never see it coming. They're gonna be like, "What happened?" Everybody can see it, but them, and that's okay. That's all right. We see it. We're watching.
I don't know. I agree with in the sense I do think that there's a gradual progression into a lot more feminine energy in leadership, and that's going to continue to happen. I don't know if I agree though if it feels like it's quite as important in 2026, but I do see this being raised
Kamala, we're
again in
still reeling from
2028.
Kamala, and
Well,
now
I'm talking about
Jasmine,
presidential
and
elections
now,
now, where it
yeah,
may be Kamala in 2028 or 2032. So
yeah.
but I don't know if I feel like it being such a big deal in the midterms. It's
No,
going to
it's
be
not. It's not.
interesting,
That's what
though.
I'm saying. I'm
Mhm.
actually saying that. I'm saying it's not a big deal in the midterms, but we're watching, and it
Oh,
will
yeah,
be a big deal. It
it will
will
be.
be
I
a big
agree.
deal.
In
Yeah,
future
it will
elections.
be a big deal. So, but that's okay. I mean, we're watching. We get to watch and see how things are done, and then we get to make our voices heard, and then we'll see what happens next. Um, so, do you think Swalwell, who's running for the Republican, or who do we think is going to be the Republican that's the candidate?
I don't know everybody who's in that race, Susan. I
Okay.
don't know the Republicans. I think there's like 20 people running in that race.
Oh God. Okay. Do you feel like Swalwell or the Democrat has? I mean, have you read on the Democrat winning the California race? Because I don't think I have.
I've read on it. I felt Democrat was going to win. I don't remember off the top of my head who the Republicans
Okay.
were.
We can just say Democrat's going to win, whoever that is, right?
Yeah, I felt like even though it could backfire, I feel like a Democrat will win. You know what?
Okay.
Actually, I think they're going to end up doing. They're going to make changes, and because I believe this is how Republican governors have gotten it in the past. Like, was it Arnold Schwarzenegger? Wasn't he governor of California?
Yeah.
Um, I see them actually switching to like rank choice voting.
Okay.
That would make more
Yeah.
sense to me for like the primaries, and then you wouldn't come into this whole ordeal if you have 20 Democrats running, even though Republicans only get 15% of the vote. You know, it's not split up because there's such a big Democratic
Right.
field.
Right. The guides have talked about ranked choice voting for 2 years straight. They keep saying it's coming. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but they keep saying it's coming.
Yeah, I just threw a couple of cards on here too. I feel like there's a younger man, Page of Wands, so it's kind of a fiery energy. Will be
Mm-hmm.
announced the winner in that race, in the California governor's race.
Okay.
And you know, not that Swalwell is extremely young, but I mean, he's pretty young for a
Yeah,
politician.
young energy to him, relatively speaking. So does Katie. Both of them do.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they both
if
do.
looking at a man, then that's the guy. Because I think the other guy's older. The billionaire dude is older.
You know what I think is funny, and I don't know why this just popped up, psychic ping pong here, but there's a Republican that was huge MAGA in California that's switching to be an independent, as if that's
Uh-oh.
going to actually help because they changed the maps around. And he's like, "Oh, I
Uh-oh.
might caucus for the Democrats if I get
Oh,
reelected.
for
Good
the
luck,
love of
buddy."
God.
I don't remember what his name is, but I just think it's funny that I think he's actually already switched to an independent. So,
I mean, that tells you how bad it is to be a Republican too, right?
mhm.
Like he's like, I have a better chance being an independent than I do being a Republican right now.
They know that they're screwed.
Yeah, they know they're screwed.
And you know, the thing is, too, after the primary season's over, you're going to see all the Republicans, if Trump's even still around, they're not going to just stand by and give him all the power and not fight back, because ultimately, the reason why we are seeing some start to stand up to him now, but the reason why they don't in huge droves is they don't want to be primaried by, somebody that's more MAGA. And once they already get the spot, they're kind of okay, right? They don't necessarily need his endorsements. So,
Right. Well, I like Eric Swalwell. I mean, it's good to have a lot of good choices. It's good to
yeah,
have good choices.
yeah, I think Swalwell would be a great governor. I get good
And
vibes.
Doxy Mom says Katie for Treasury Secretary.
I could see that, or
I
even
could see that.
education secretary too. Um, Somebody asked about McConnell. I've always said I didn't feel him finishing out his term. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Democrats get a Senate seat before the next midterms too. If there's a powered shift in the Senate as well as the House, I see the House. Like I said, I've said it in the past. I could see Johnson out and the House actually going blue before the midterms. I don't necessarily see the Senate going blue as well, but I know that I think Kentucky's changed the law so that if something happens to McConnell, they have to put a Republican in. But I don't know. I actually feel like Bashir he might have something up his sleeve.
Well, Bashir said, in response to that, Bashir said, you didn't change the Kentucky state constitution. He said, and I'll be using the Constitution to make my decision. So that is what's up his sleeve, right? And speaking of Bashir, I'm telling you guys, he is a dark horse. He is going to come out of the back of the pack, and he's going to plop into, I think, 2028. He is going to be on everybody's radar. I'm not a fan or not a fan. I mean, I have no qualms about him in any, but my guides keep saying he's the one to watch.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily picking up on him, although I could see how you're saying like a dark horse or something.
Yeah.
I've always felt for Bashir that he would eventually actually be a senator. But I don't think he's going to step down while he's governor. So
no.
So he may not
and
take.
He's young, so I mean, he could be a senator. And then
who's the other Kentucky senator? Is it Rand Paul?
Rand Paul, I think. Yeah. I mean, just beyond bad down there. And then they have Massey. Isn't Massey from Kentucky?
In the House.
They don't have 3 senators. So where's Massey from?
Massey's a House. He's in the Congress.
Oh, so he's from Kentucky then. Mm-hmm. We were talking about McConnell, though. So you think McConnell, I mean, what is keeping him alive? Like, even batteries have to give out at some point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my God.
You think he's got, like, Horcruxes laying around? I swear
I do think he has Horcruxes. I think a lot of them do. All of them do. All of them do.
I don't know, though. I don't think he's going to be around a lot longer. I'm actually, is he back in the Senate now? Because he was in the hospital.
He was in the hospital. He refuses to die. There's going to be something that happens energetically, and then they're all going to go. That's what I think. Yeah, I know. What voodoo medicine is keeping him alive? I don't even want to blame voodoo for this. This is worse than voodoo's fine.
Oh, he's been in a wheelchair. Okay. I really don't think he's going to be around a lot longer. I don't necessarily like predicting death, or I'm not wishing that on anybody, but he won't finish his term out. I actually feel like he's going to be out sooner rather than later, probably in the next couple of months.
The last time I went into his energy, he told me, I want to die on the floor. And he's not talking about the kitchen floor. He's talking about the Senate floor. He literally wants to be on the Senate floor when he dies. So I'm like, look, that's fine, dude. I don't care where you go. You know what I mean? I don't have any problems. Just let's talk about the date.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know, and you might have a different opinion on this, Susan. I've shared mine, but what's your thoughts of Tallarico? Do you feel like he's a GOP plan? I actually feel like he's authentic. Is my vibe. It's not like everybody's cup of tea, but I think for Texas it works, because he preaches about his faith and all of that too. But I do feel like it's not in a judgmental way that other Christians push their faith or demand that you live in a certain way.
No, he doesn't do that. No, he's not that kind of fervid. He's not.
I don't get Fetterman vibes
at all. No, he's not a Fetterman. I just don't. I've always had a different opinion about him. I mean, I'm a 30-year Texas voter. I think that Jasmine could have won it. I do think that, but this is what we have. It doesn't matter what I think now. This is the horse that's in the race, right? So that's the most important thing, is that he do it. But I'll say that he came out of nowhere. He doesn't have a lot of support. He doesn't have a lot of money, and yet he's gone really far, and that worries me, because Beto traveled the state for 10 or 12 years, just doing the work, right, and could never get anywhere. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me that he came out of nowhere. He doesn't really have a lot of experience. Jasmine had all the experience. He does not. He's a state rep. He's not a U.S. rep. It's just something's off. That's all I would say. Maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? Time will tell. Time will tell, and we'll figure it out. That's where
Well,
we
you
are.
could also be picking up. I think that they did Jasmine dirty, and I was predicting if she were to win the nomination, I felt like there was going to be a lot of cheating, and we already saw
That's
somebody
true, but
in that
then
election.
that means they're backing Tallarico.
Well,
If
right.
you're telling me that they're going to set Jasmine up to fail because to cheat, but yet that means that they're going to pad Tallarico to get him in.
Mm,
Why wouldn't they do the same thing to Tallarico? Tallarico's got less of everything,
yeah.
and he'd be easier target. And but the thing is, Tallarico is going to go pray with everybody. And look, I'm just telling you, Texas problems can't be prayed away. You can't pray away the gay. We all know that, right? You're not going to be able to pray this stuff away. We really needed a fighter. We needed somebody who holds them accountable. Instead, we're going to have a guy who's going to go in and say, "Now, y'all, let's all let's all have compassion. Let's have compassion for," which is great. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. Let's see how it
I'm
works.
not. I'm not anti-compassion here.
Let's see how it works. Let's just see. I don't know.
I
I
actually
don't
think
know.
a lot of the younger independents, even some Republicans, will actually enjoy him and vote for him.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. For Texas
I think
is
he's going to win.
safe. I really, well, okay. If he wins, that's one thing. Let's see what he does 2, 3
Yeah,
years
that's
in.
true.
These
Yeah.
people are snakes. The actual the very top tiers of Texas politics has
Hmm.
FBI indictments against him, and the FBI can't even take him to prison. These are not your usual politicians. These are cartel, mob, snake people, and I just hope that he can do something against them. I really do. I really
Hmm.
do. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's only so much, in Texas. I think Jasmine, there would probably be a lot of people that wouldn't feel comfortable voting for a strong black woman.
But you know
Um,
what? See, I had that feeling too until she won Dallas. Look, let me just tell you something
mhm.
about Texas. Can I just tell you about Texas, Houston
you
here?
know, you know Texas.
Houston, we're
Mhm.
blue. We're blue collar and blue, and we don't even care. Okay, we don't care. San Antonio, Hispanic, blue, do not
Mhm.
care. El Paso, blue, Hispanic, do not care. Dallas, God bless them. Dallas, just like the damn TV show. They white, they're
Mhm.
rich, they're country club. They don't like us. We don't like them. No love between Dallas and nobody. No love. And then Jasmine Crockett goes in there and wins, and then
Mhm.
Dallas gets a black mayor. I was like, what the hell is happening in Dallas? So that's when I thought it's not like Jasmine won in Houston or won in San Antonio or won in the big blue, she won in Dallas. That's when I was like, okay, that's a different yardstick
Is that the area
than
that
the
she
other blue
represents,
city.
though?
What's
Is
that?
she is when she was when she's in the House, is her district around Dallas?
Dallas.
Well, that could be why she has support there, and that's why she won it.
She had to win it to get there. I mean, she had to win Dallas. I mean, and she's not a Dallas person. Even
Hmm.
if she was, let's say, okay, she's a black woman, but let's say that she's a Dallas person. That she's not a Dallas person. She's really more of a Houston person. She'd be wearing kicks and jeans, and then she'll be wearing a suit. That's
Hmm.
Houston. Dallas is not no jeans. Dallas, it's just a different vibe. I'm just saying, if she could win Dallas, that made me feel like hopeful that she could take the
The whole
state
state,
because
yeah.
because of that, right? But you know what? We'll see. Who knows? Um, and Denise is obviously Denise is very big in Texas politics, has been for a long time. Denise 3322, and she's saying that she must be a fan of Tallarico. Hey, look, y'all, we shouldn't be talking about this. The man is the man. Let's get him elected and let's hold his feet to the fire. That's what we should do.
Well, at this point, yeah. I mean, who's better, Cornyn or Paxton or Tellerico,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, he's the
I
guy.
all
He's
I'm
the
going to
guy. He's
say,
good.
and I think for the state, he's a better candidate in the sense of being able to get more voters out. I will say for me as a Democrat, if I had to choose one of them, it would be Jasmine every day, any day. But like I said, I feel like she's on to bigger and better things. Like I see her as really a younger face leading the party going forward, um, and in bigger ways than just a senator too. So
It's going to be very interesting. Everything is going to be very interesting
we'll
because
see
there's a
how it
lot of
all.
power places changing and things are changing, and we'll just see what's happening.
Yes. What else do we want to read on? We gotta been on for almost an hour, but anything else coming to mind?
Yeah. Wow. Well, do we really think that JD is gonna is do we really think he's decided that he's not gonna run in, or is he just blowing smoke, right? Is he just trying to get everybody off of his case so we won't look at
No,
him?
I think he's actually scared.
He
I'm not
should
gonna
be.
lie. He should be. Um, well, and even too, like, I wonder if Trump's like threatened to like fire him and
God only
replace him with
knows.
like Rubio.
God only knows what Trump has threatened to do with that guy. You can only imagine.
I mean, we haven't even really seen Vance much lately
No, that's
since
what I'm
the
saying.
whole,
He's hiding.
going into Iran. He's been laying low.
Yeah, yeah. He's he's hiding out.
I well, I get Five of Pentacles here too, so this can be a card of like a loss. He feels he feels like in a sense he's abandoned by the Republican voters. Even if he were to, Trump were to something were to happen to him and he's president for a short while, he's not going to command any respect from the MAGAs or from the Republican
That's
Party.
true.
They're not afraid of him.
Mm-mm. That's true. Really good point. They're not afraid of him. That's really true right there.
I mean, he would. I feel like he would. He still wants to be president. Like, let's not get it twisted. But does he want to run on Trump's platform?
No.
No, I don't think he wants. I don't think he really wants to have to explain himself.
I love that he's lost before he even had a chance. I love that for him
But
and
you
for
know what,
us.
though, too? I swear, anybody that's connected to Trump, it's a sinking ship. When Trump goes down, everybody in the administration
It's
around
true.
him, they're all getting sucked into the water too.
Yeah.
Like their careers are going to be over.
Yeah. They'll be lucky if they're not in prison, honestly, because I do see a
I
tribunal. I
do
do
see
see.
some in prison. I do. But I feel like, how do you feel about this? I feel like a big part of the base is starting to turn on Trump and the Republicans.
Yes.
They're pissed.
Yes, it's the war. I'm telling you, that was the last straw. This thing that's not a war, that is a war, or whatever it is. I
Hmm.
think that is truly the last straw. And did you see where they increased the age? Now they'll accept you in the army if you're up to 40 years old, or if you have one strike against you, like if you have a misdemeanor for smoking pot. Oh yeah, come on in. We want you. We'll take you. So
No, isn't that funny?
that's a desperation move, right? 40 years old. That's like, remember when Russia started doing that? Russia was
Hmm.
like, we'll take anybody, just we'll go clean out the prisons, whatever. This is a big deal. This is a big, to me, it feels like a big tell of what they're thinking or how they're going about this.
Mm. Well, and I think also too, it kind of goes into like the rumors of them reinstating the draft, which I don't necessarily see. I feel like there's like the pressure to, they're sending a lot of the Marines over there. I'm not necessarily seeing troops on the ground. I see Trump at some point chickening out, and because he's feeling all of the pressure from, the stock market going way down, gas prices going way up. He knows it's not popular, and so I actually feel like what he did is he opened Pandora's box with all the
That's true.
destruction over there. And
That's true.
so now we're going to have terror instances all around the world. They're going to
That's true.
continue to, fight against us. I actually feel like it's going to be more so Israel's war with them than us,
Yes.
and we may help from time to time, but I'm not necessarily seeing it being a big scale war. I see things kind of de-escalating and then escalating again, de-escalating for a while. That's how I see it anyway.
Right. Yeah, me too. Like the fire's almost out, then it catches on again, it blows up. An
Hmm.
interesting question from Doxy Mom again is, will the Iranians seek out the Trump kids as revenge or for revenge?
Mm. I think that they're thinking about it. I'm not seeing them necessarily being successful with that, but I
But the
would
thing about
actually,
the Iranians,
I feel more concerned for Netanyahu, to be honest with you. I don't. I'm not one that's picking up that he's dead. I feel like he's in hiding right
yeah,
now.
I didn't either. I feel like he's either in a coma or he's hiding. He's very, 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 very
I don't feel him in a
covered
coma.
up. He's covered up, like hiding deep, deep.
Hmm.
Um, like they don't even want psychics to find him. You know what I mean? Like his energy feels,
More
like they're
protected,
trying to,
guarded.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Which is
do.
why we're all picking up that he's dead. That's why a lot of
Mm.
people are picking up that he's dead. That's on. I think Israel has the best psychic, uh, sort of military, if you will, of any country, and then Russia is number two.
Interesting. I feel when I try to tap into his energy, I do feel energetically blocked in some ways. I have a very hard time reading Netanyahu,
Always, right?
where
And
I don't feel that way with other
right.
Putin. Putin is dark to cleanse after that, but I can actually tap into some things. Him, I have a very hard time with. Yeah,
Yep.
I think is interesting too. They're uh, they're changing the age for the military because he's all gung ho about world domination. Taking
Yes.
over Venezuela and wants to go over
Yes.
Cuba and Greenland, and then starting war with Iran.
Yes.
So
100%. 100%. That's his dream. I don't think it's going to happen, but
it's
that's
not going
his
to
dream.
happen.
But this has always been something that I've known. This is the third and final rail for MAGAs. You cannot send us to war. They've been clear about this. Like, and Trump told them he wouldn't do it, and now he's doing it. So this is there again. The rubber band. They stretched and stretched and
Mhm.
stretched and made them believe all kinds of things, but the rubber band is breaking. And gas prices are insane.
The Epstein stuff
Groceries
is a
are insane.
big turning
People are
point
losing
for
their
some of them
jobs.
too.
We're sending soldiers, including a lot of National Guard, a lot of reservists are going
Hmm.
over there. So I didn't realize how many people have family members that are in the service, in the reserves or different things. But it's like one of every five people has somebody that's going over there. It's impacting us in a way that I don't think we understood.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to come back and really bite them in a way that they just don't know. They just
It's
can't.
not
They're
popular
they're
with
out of
the
touch.
base. I mean the Epstein stuff too, but I feel like you know it's all accumulative, like we've been saying. Well, who was it? Is it Nick Fuentes is telling his people to vote Democrat? You're already starting to see him go that far to say don't vote for Republicans at all, right? It's just crazy.
It's what I'm saying. The whole thing is crazy. It's hard to read on it because it's just literally nuts. It's like when if you see those old movies where the clocks are going backwards, you know what I mean? That's the
I
energy
never
we're in
thought
right
I
now.
would. I never thought that there would be a day that I thought MTG made a lick of sense.
For real, right? For real.
Not that
That's the rebranding that you're seeing.
I don't
Massey is
support
another
her.
one who talks
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bobert came out against this too recently. You know, it's going to be really hard to discern who's trustworthy, who's not trustworthy, what is happening right now. And then when you're in pain, you just want somebody to put you out of the misery. You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
I think Americans are going to grasp at whatever is offered to them. Just look, we don't care anymore. Just somebody get in there and make it stop. We don't care who it is. So I
Right.
think that could be a problem.
Well, and I think with it too is there's all of these different factions of MAGAs and the base, and Trump's really the glue that holds them all together. But
Yes.
it's starting to peel away, and at some point, like I said, Trump's not there. There's going to be factions, but they're not going to be able to coalesce around
No,
one label.
no. It's just like when Charlie died. TPUSA didn't just fall in line with Kirk, with
Yeah.
her, with Erica with 3Ks. These people are not monoliths. You can't just grab them for yours, right? And actually Fuentes grabbed a lot of those TPUSA people. So it's just like a scramble to get
Mm.
those supporters, right? And I think this is what I've always said is these people are just not going to vote. They're just going to be like, they're all bad. They're all bad. You can't trust any politicians. When you hear people say that, they're a Republican, they're mad, and they're just going to go home and take their marbles with them, which is fine. That's fine. You do that,
Yeah,
right?
we're okay with some people not voting, right?
We're okay with them not
We're
voting.
okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you guys do that.
we all vote.
Exercise your right to not vote.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think too. That's going to make a big change. We're just going to see. There are some Republicans that are not for Trump. They haven't been for Trump, and that growing. But out of the MAGA faction, yeah, a lot of them just aren't going to be excited to vote anymore. They're going to think that all politicians are corrupt, and
Yeah,
so they're just not going to even participate.
that's right. And that's fine because now we get to do it. Now
Exactly.
we're going to have a little bit more action, a little bit more power, I think.
Well, we'll take it too with all these special elections coming up and midterms coming on later on this year. So all for it. I think just lastly before we wrap up, Susan, what's your feelings for the No Kings protests this weekend?
I hear the words record breaking.
Yeah.
And I also want to remind everybody that if you go, please consider wearing a mask. For one thing, things are, it's spring, things are running around, but just protect your identity because
Mm.
they're logging your identity. And then who knows what database it goes into. And even if we get a JD, there's still, is Miller still going to be there? Is Doge still going to be there? Are these minions still going to be there doing the things, right? Please protect your identity. Wear a hat, wear a mask, wear sunglasses. Do not park nearby. And the other thing that I do want to say, the guides are reminding me, these people just got found guilty in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Found guilty. They were not in a group. They were just in an area together. Okay, so these were not people that knew each other. One of the people there shot at somebody, an ICE officer, somebody. It was a shoulder wound. It was not critical, but
Mm-hmm.
That person got arrested, and all the people, 9 of them got arrested. Now, they had their court and their jury by peers sentence them. They're going to prison.
Mm.
They were not connected to this. And you're now a freaking terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you guys to be really careful when you're out there. Something happens, don't just stand there and think about your options. Maybe you need to run away, right? Because if there's some crazy person doing something crazy, then you get penalized for it. That's not going to be cool, right? And you just have to be really careful. Just be careful. That's all.
I think it's important not to live our life in fear, because we have to stand up and we have to be empowered in this moment, to fight back. But also, there's a sense too of just being very in tune to your intuition, and if something doesn't feel right, something feels off, really honoring that and making sure that you're protecting yourself and your loved ones.
And you would know, right? Like you would know when the energy starts to get kind of fevered and, and you're like, okay, this is feeling weird. Just go to the side, right?
Yeah.
Of the, let's say there's 100,000 or 500,000 people protesting. The odds of it happening to you are, very, very tiny, right? So, but I would really like it if everybody covered up their identity personally.
For sure.
It feels really important.
I think
They have
protecting
these
yourself
flock
is so
cameras now,
important.
the flock
Mm-hmm.
cameras that are everywhere that are recording everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like protecting yourself, your identity. But I also think too, like, don't allow, you know, Trump or MAGA to, the administration to put you in a fearful place where you feel like you can't um, share your constitutional right to protest and to stand up.
Do it
Um,
smart.
yeah, but do it smart. I agree. I'm not necessarily feeling horrible about like retaliations for these No King's Day protests. I agree with you. My guides have been saying for the last few months it was going to be historic. I think worldwide. I could see like 50 million people out in the streets protesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if it's from this weekend. I actually feel like it's going to continue. So, whereas we've been doing like No Kings protests like every couple months, I actually feel like there's going to continue to be protests like every weekend. Um, and I think that it's going to be a turning point for Trump where he may actually, incite violence
Yes.
or do something at a further protest. But which I have been talking about since he got in there, trying to declare martial law or try to send military or ICE against protesters. I feel like that's possible, but I don't feel like it's this weekend. It feels like this weekend's a turning point where he may try something like that in the future. I actually see it being, I think that there's going to be a lot of bipartisanship coming out in the streets. I get the Two of Cups, so
Nice.
there's unity, the lovers, people coming together.
Nice.
It's going to be a celebration too. It's going
Nice.
to
I
feel
love it.
so empowering, and it's part of a turning point. Then we have
Yes.
the Fool, which is a new beginning. It's a new cycle coming in. That's what I'm saying. I'm really feeling like we're kind of getting back onto our original timeline before Trump got in and kind of shifted us into a dark place. I feel like we're kind of coming out of that, and there's like a light at the end of the tunnel coming in here too. So I'm looking
I
forward
agree.
to it. I have, and actually, there's like, for me, there's normally only like one protest nearby. There's like three or four of them. So there's a lot of
Right.
different locations that are popping up because the demand for it's so high.
And I think somebody said they've been to 3 of these protests, and the cops are intimidated by the crowd, right? So I think that's also something
Mhm.
really important. It's very different to be in a crowd of 20,000 than it is to be in a crowd of 10 with some ICE people, right?
Yeah,
So, and I love the idea of coming together and supporting each other. And I've been in protests where you feel that energy of, that upwelling of
that's what it
unity,
feels
and
like,
that you're
and hope.
there for the right reasons, and justice is here, and you can see how the powerful you are. So it's, oh, go. I'm not saying don't go. I'm saying be smart,
Yeah,
just be smart.
absolutely.
I don't think the news is going to report the numbers in the most
Accurate
honest
way.
way.
They haven't the last few. There, the
Yeah.
last few. I think what did they say? The last one that there was it 7 or 8 million? There was a lot more than that.
Yeah, there were more. Yeah. But the thing is, you can even Google Earth, and then some scientists are predicting the crowds. So whereas the media won't do it, the information is getting out there. And I think Kevin said something too in his live yesterday about how there's going to be more organic, just
Yeah,
pop up protest. And so we might not hear about them, right? But they're happening all the time.
I think I think it's going to be so big that they can try not to report it, but
Yeah.
their attention's going to be there.
Yeah.
I actually feel like this protest will be different than the other ones. It may still be underrepresented what actually the amount of people that are out, but I actually feel a lot of energy and momentum around these protests. So
And it's nice to
I'm
see the
feeling it's going to
world
be
too.
very encouraging and empowering, and I actually feel like it's going to bring some hope back in here, which has been lacking since he's been in there. So, like I said, I feel things shifting.
I
I
do
do.
too. And I think we're just going to get to a pause after. Is it after June? When do you think there's sort of like a tipping point? What does it feel like to you?
I don't know. I feel like the timing aspects. It depends on what you're asking. Are you saying turning point like Trump's out of there?
No, a tipping point in the power quotient, the power status, the power starts to tip over. I mean,
Actually, we're already saying it. April's going to be huge. June, it feels pretty significant to me
it
as well.
does. June feels significant.
But I actually feel like April may be the turning point. I feel like we're already in the turning point.
Yeah, we're in the turning point.
We're
But it
in it.
feels like there's a point where we can almost look back and say, yep, that's when it happened. And that could be when one of the three axis of evil crosses over as well, too, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be some of the Epstein stuff. It could be him going into Iran and pissing off his base. Could be something big going on with that. I like I said, it's not. It doesn't feel like it's just one thing that ends this. It's everything, an accumulation of everything. So, but I do feel March. We're not done with March yet. April feels like it's going to be extremely significant in shifting things. And then the summer feels that way too. A lot of big energy, summer months to September. I really feel a lot of that fire horse energy um, over the summer, like things building momentum, um, things moving so quickly, empowerment, like feeling empowered, um, kind of fighting back. So,
We
yeah,
need that. We need that energy. We need that lift up of excitement, lift up of hope, of light at the end of the tunnel. We need that right now. And I do feel like it is moving. Finally, the energy seems to be moving.
yeah, I agree. So, Susan, do you have anything going on that you want to let people know about before we wrap up today?
I have a new class coming out, but I haven't announced it just yet, but it's coming out soon. Actually, I have
Okay.
this new newsletter that everybody's digging that I send out every Friday, and my guides actually channel messages in it. So I'm going to announce my class on Friday in my newsletter. So if you're interested in my newsletter or my online community, you can go to susanlynnmedium.com and you can sign up for my newsletter there. It's free. You can sign up for, I have a free community, I have a paid community, lots of things going on. How about you?
Well, before we get to me, actually, I just remembered. I think our last collaboration, I told everybody to subscribe to your channel and help you to get to 100,000, and you
Yes.
just got that. So,
Yes.
congrats, my friend. Very well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Have you got your
You've been a
plaque
big
yet?
supporter and I really appreciate it. Now we got to get Kevin and everybody else up there, everybody. It's free to subscribe, you guys. Please go and subscribe to the channels.
Have you got your plaque yet, Susan?
No, they just sent me the email to get it, you know what I
Oh,
mean, to
nice.
order it or whatever it is. Um, so I don't know how long that'll take, but you better believe I'll have it because
You got
it's
to.
not like you get money, you don't get any money. Thank God you don't have to buy the plaque. I was like, you're not gonna buy this thing. But it was a milestone. It was an important milestone for me, just personally. So I'm really glad that I
Absolutely.
that I got it.
And it's so well deserved. All of the hard work that you do for the community and giving back.
Oh,
Um, and and I really see you really much connect with the community too, with your humor, with all of your
oh,
information and your abilities, Susan. So
thank you, Kevin.
you're a treasure.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I feel the same about you.
Definitely.
We've been through Kevin and I have been doing this monthly for years. We've been through some thicks and thins, y'all.
We
The
have
whole the Biden debate, the Kamala loss. We've been here showing up monthly through all of the things, right? So I think Kevin deserves just as much. He's been in the trenches, working just as hard
oh,
for
thank you.
us as well.
So what do I have going on? I have well, I just had 25,000 not that long ago, so I'll
Woo
take that.
woo!
I'll take that. I'm happy with that. I have some Reiki classes coming up, so I have my master level class. Um, I have some openings for it's May 15th through the 17th. You have to be a level 2 practitioner for 6 months. Um, have some good experience doing Reiki for yourself, others, and at a distance. If you're interested with that, if you've taken my class, you can feel free to sign up. If not, send me an email and we can talk about your readiness. I have beginning level classes 1 and 2, just filled up classes for April. So I have some new classes June and July. for beginning level if anybody's interested in that.
And they're
My,
online.
they are online. With the Holy Fire Reiki that I do, I think the attunements are done a little bit differently, and they're very much virtual. They complement like a virtual class. So
Nice.
Because I debated with the Sui Reiki when I first became a master and wanting to teach. Something I didn't feel quite right about teaching that online, although some people do.
Oh,
The Holy
interesting.
Fire energy is very compatible with
I
that.
just love that Holy Fire energy, y'all. He did a free healing. You guys could check it out on my channel. He did a free healing for us a few months ago, and you can watch it anytime. But that it was Holy Fire, I'm pretty sure. It was really just feels differently to me.
It comes from a higher level of consciousness, so it comes in very strong and refined. But I also feel it like I just feel it in the heart center. So much love comes through with
Yes,
it.
we
So
needed that. We need that heart center.
maybe we'll do something soon on your
Yeah,
channel,
yeah,
talk about Reiki and do an
yeah,
experience. So I have
yeah.
classes coming up over the summer. Um, I haven't. Mel and I are going to do a show tomorrow, but we filled up our Gettysburg event for June, and we're going to actually do a second one because there's been so much
Which is ghost hunting in Gettysburg, y'all.
ghost
Sign
hunting in
up.
Gettysburg. And so we have a second event going on in September. Mel and I are going to announce more about it tomorrow when we go live. But if you'd like the brochure, the information, you can email me. I'm happy to send that to you at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com in the description box. And for my members, next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're doing mini personal readings and our giveaway for March. And I have openings for readings, Reiki sessions, or do a combination of both if you're feeling blocked or, we want to focus in on sending some Reiki to help unrestrict some of the blockages after like a reading and diagnosing that. It can be very helpful. So I have some openings, I think, next week and into April, if anybody's interested. All the information's in the description box or my website. All right. Well, Susan, I always enjoy our time together. It's always such a treat. Next time we'll be on your channel, probably next month, and I'm sure that so much will be going on in the world by then. So there'll be so much to read on.
Let's manifest some good things, y'all. You know what I'm talking about too. We're talking
For
about
sure.
dirt naps. Okay. Let's manifest some things.
And hopefully my voice and everything is a lot better come the next. I'm
I
not
just hope
feeling a
you
little
feel
bit under the
better.
weather.
Yeah.
I am feeling much better. It's just my voice is a little weak. So, all right. Thank you,
Everybody
Susan.
take good
Thank you
care.
all. You all take care. See you soon.
Yeah.
All right, bye, everyone.